So hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Amrita, aka your coffee chapter, and today we are here for the Fab 2026 wrap up. So if you have seen my Fab 2026 TBR video, and in that we have picked it up 5 books with the help of the jar, the TBR jar, and the numbers that we have given to the each books, which is my physical TBR. So I have picked 5 books, and in those five out of those 5 books, like other than those 5 books, sorry, I also read 2 more books from in Kindle actually, and so that makes total 7 books. But uh, I'll let you know like how much I have read. So in that makes total 7, 5 through the TBR, from the TBR jar, and 2 from the Kindle. But let's see how much I have read, and a lot of things that happened in Fab. Okay, although I was not planning like to read from the Kindle, but just to change the genre, because if you've seen my Fab video, TBR video, like out of 5 books, I got 3 books from the same genre, and I don't know, might be I'm reading those same genre books since last past 2 to 3 years. Uh, I am little bit what I can say, I'm a little bit off from that one. I'm not liking and not into those books much. So they kind of, I won't say bore me out, but uh, I was like not in the mood. I was not like feeling like to read those books. So let's dive into the video first. So uh first book, and I have like written everything, like I have given the stars, like the Fable on my Fable app. So I've written like how many stars I have given, and like what did I like about the book. So let's talk about the first book. So the first book is Obstacle is the Way. It is by Ryan Holiday. All right, so if I talk about this book, then this is my third book from Ryan Holiday. I've already read 2 books. One is Ego is the Enemy, another one is A Daily Stoic. So if I talk about this book, then this book is actually been divided. Let me just fix this mic up, because otherwise it's going to keep on falling. Let me just, okay. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. That sounds better. So if I talk about this book, particular book, then this book is basically divided into 3 parts. First is the perception, I suppose. Second is the action. Yeah. First is perception, second is action, and third is will. Like how to remove the obstacles from your way. Like first is perception, like the chapters if you just go about, then talks about discipline, recognizing your power, controlling your emotions, okay, and to think differently. Then when it comes to action, like you have to be moving person, you have to channelize your energies, that what you are doing and what the things you're like, how to not focus your energies here and there, not allowing your energy to split here and there. And third one, that the final portion of this part of the book comes in, is the will. So discipline of the wills, I like uh, you should have the discipline. See, to do anything, you should have a will inside you, then only you will be able to do anything, everything. And uh, you also have to like, if I just talk about one more thing about anticipation, like thinking negatively, don't anticipate everything, don't think negatively at all, okay, or just try not to think about it, and love everything that happens. Okay, and few things happen for good, some few things happen uh, bad, I can say. But yeah, so this book has been there. Although I like this book a lot, and I'm thinking to reread this book somewhere. I don't know, I will definitely reread this book. There are certain books which I like, okay, but sometimes I'm not in a correct mind to read those books. So I just, I don't grasp like all the things that I read. But I'm thinking to read this book again, somewhere down the line, or might be anyway in the year. I'll pick this book up again and I'll just read it again. And because when I read this book, at that time only I thought that okay, I will read this book again. I will reread this book again, because this book, I'm really, really looking forward, like This book deserves a second chance too. Although I like the book, I have given 4 stars to this book. Yeah, I've given the 4 stars to this book. So this book is actually good. If you're into something, if you've read Ryan Holiday before, you will definitely like this book. So this book is 4 stars. Now the second book that comes up by is the Don't Believe Everything You Think by Joseph Nguyen. And like if I talk about the stars that I have given to it, it's like 3 stars I have given. uh, and I'll just read a thing like a line from this page, like I have anecdoted it, that it's not other people's situations, circumstances, it's not the empty boat, but my reaction to it that causes my anger. All the people or situations that make one upset and angry are just like the empty boat. They don't have the power to make me angry without my own reaction. So yeah, this book talks about like whatever we are thinking, sometimes are the people control. Sometimes we knowingly or unknowingly become the what do you call it, you become the uh, puppet, I would say, of the other people thinking or thoughts. All right, or like if they want the reaction out of you, like it says that the root cause of your suffering is your own thinking. Sometimes it is true, sometimes it's not. Okay, one of the lines says our feelings do not come from external events but from our own thinking about the events. Okay, therefore we can only ever feel what we are thinking. Okay, so there are certain good lines into it. Okay, we live in a world of thought, not reality. So one of the thought is this: the book is, I would say, good. Okay, but I think because I have read so, but this is the book is by Joseph Nguyen. Nguyen, I suppose I'm reading the author name correct. But if I talk about the book, the one problem that I had with this book is that the book is not edited properly, because there are a lot of sentence repetition, the spellings were not correct. So I think that somewhere I don't know like what happened with the editor. If the editor sees, if anybody has read this book, they will understand what I'm talking about. The book is not edited properly. A lot of sentences they are either got repeated like in the same line, or there were a lot of spelling mistakes, like ample amount of spelling mistakes. I can easily take it out from this book. So editing was one of the problem. And second thing, that why I have given it 3 stars is because I have read so many books of the same genre, that somewhere I feel that well, when I was reading this book, I felt like I've already read these things, these like the things that has been written in this book somewhere, like I'd say somewhere, yeah, in some other books too. So this book actually did not work that way for me, if I just be honest. So yeah, this one is goes for 3 star. Don't believe everything you think. Okay, next book that comes up is Loath to Love You by Ellie Hazelwood. So this was my second book. It is actually a novella of the book that has been there out there on the Kindle available. 3 stories of the 3 friends. I don't remember the names. I think I need to check the names because I'm so sorry. I think Mara was the one girl. Then I think Hannah was the second girl, if I'm not wrong. And another one was. Hmm, that guy name is Ian Floyd. One of the story was Ian Floyd, and he is a NASA engineer, I think, I suppose. And this girl, what's the name of this girl? I don't remember. Dr. Areo? No, that's the last name. What happened to my memory? Hannah. Yeah, Hannah was the name of the girl, and Anne Floyd is the Hannah is the our female protagonist in the third story, and Anne Floyd is the main male character in this one. So Hannah gets the job like to work on in NASA. I think she's a biologist or something, and she goes like she's an engineer and she wants to test her robot in the Arctic, so that it can be in extreme conditions, so that her robot can go and like if it passes those test conditions in the Arctic, it can be sent to Mars. So she's just crazy about that, and how she got stuck, and the history between Anne Floyd, the guy, and the Hannah. So one story was that. Second, one of the story was between. Okay, I have to find it out. Like I have, it's just I don't know. One story is between the lawyer, and the name of the lawyer uh, is it the Anna? The name of the this is Anna. I don't know. Like, am I? I don't know. I forgot everything. I'm not able to remember a word. Like I know the story, but I'm not able to remember the name of the characters. The problem is this. Liam. The guy name is Liam. Okay, in the first story is Under the Roof, and the last story that we were talking about was Below Zero, that Hannah and the other one. The first guy is Liam. Uh, he is a lawyer who works for a company, some environmental company, who like just goes on and do some stuff. And the girl name is Mara. Okay, so the first girl name is Mara, and the guy is Liam. So Mara is actually a girl who never had a home. Their parents dies early, so Mara and her twin sister, they are been like living with different relatives of them. And when one Mara goes to the like this Mara, Hannah, and the third girl, I'll just check it out. What's the name of the third girl? They all were doing their PhDs in a university under a professor. Mara is an environmental biologist, I suppose, and she is also a PhD holder. So she gets a job here in the city, and her professor, the whom under she completes her PhD, she was very close to her, and she was aware that Mara never had a home. So when she passes out, I'm just giving it a sneak peek. When she passes out, she actually gives her home to Mara. Like she, in her will, she says that okay, this home belongs to Mara. But when Mara reaches over there, she finds it out that actually she has to share the whole house with another guy, with the nephew of the professor, Liam, who is a lawyer. And how the things twist and turns and what happens eventually. It's a story that's been there. Okay, the second story is Stuck with You, and the Stuck with You, I have to check. Uh, okay, the story is about Eric, who is there. Okay, and okay, and Sadie, Eric and Sadie, I suppose. And okay, so basically, Eric is a guy who Sadie and Era, like Sadie and Eric. It's one of the funniest story that Sadie has a superstition that whenever she has some big deal to crack on, she is an architecture engineer, if I'm not wrong. So whenever a big deal has to be cracked upon, she actually goes to this shop. From there, where I think she gets the donut or croissant, I don't remember. So she goes over there, and those donuts or the croissant taste horrible, but still she goes over there, and she has a superstition that okay, if I'll get this donut or this whatever the croissant from there, my deal will my like, and because she was working with a startup company and the bosses was also like friendly to her, so she feels that okay, if I'll go over there and I'll get the croissant, because it happened with her once. So she thought, and every time like she goes and buys that croissant or the donut, she gets the deal where she was going for it, like for the fundings or might be some project or something like that. So once she goes over there, and this guy Eric, who works in the same building, like but in the other some company, big shot company. The last piece has been left, like how they met. I'm just telling you that. So he takes it away, and she like, oh, okay, I'm now I'm going to get it. So he gives it up, and that's how they meet, although they live in the same building. But something happens between them, or a misunderstanding happens between them, and their sweet one time moment turns into a bitter experience. Eric thoughts, I don't know, Eric has that thinks that okay, might be she was like, because of this she is not talking to me, and she thinks that okay, he has done this cruel thing with me, so I'm not going to talk to him. And a lot of misunderstandings that happens, and then eventually the story proceeds. So this is the book, and I think I had given 4 stars to book. Again, the problem with the Ali Hazelwood book with me is that there is a lot of detailed spicy scenes. Okay, so that becomes a little bit off to me, although I've read 50 Shades of Grey, but this becomes like somewhere it becomes off. So yeah, so this is the book. Now if I talk about the other 2 books, so I'll just, the book will come over here. So the first book was that I've read is My Mother is Evil by Margaret Atwood. So the book is, so this is a very short book, hardly 32 pages long. I have talked about this book in one of my reels too, on one of my shorts. So this book is actually about a mother, a teenage daughter and a mother who is a single mother. And the story goes back to, I think, in 1800s or somewhere. Okay. So, and the girl actually thinks that her mother is a witch and is involved in the witchcraft, and there are a lot of people who come to her houses, to her house, and the mother does something, and when she does those things, she tells her daughter to go and just to go and be in her room and don't come out. Okay, and she turns on the TV so that the whatever she's doing, like those who are coming, whatever she's doing over there, she does not get, like, she doesn't get it. Okay, so because of all this, the daughter starts thinking that okay, my mother is involved in some witchcraft and she's a witch, and she tells whatever she tells her. uh, the daughter believes in such manner, and later, like, she understands, okay, this happened, so my mother was right, like she knows everything and this and that. So this is actually a very hilarious scenario. But once the daughter grows up and becomes the mom, okay, and when the mother was dying on her deathbed, that time she gets to know like what was the reason behind all those things. Okay, and then she understands that why her mother was there, like like why her mother was doing those things. Okay, so this is the story. It's a very short story, and I read like this book just to get my mind off, because before that I had read these 2 books, and after that I think I have read this book during the Valentine Day time. So I have given this My Mother is Evil book 4 stars. Yeah, I've given 4 stars to this book, and this is a really short read. So it's like you can fit, like I finished it in one hour suppose, because I hardly read 40-50 pages in an hour. So yeah, I took 1 hour and I finished this book. If you're a fast reader, you can easily finish it off in half an hour or something. Just 32 pages long book. Now the fourth book, sorry, the fifth book that comes up is okay, so the My Mother is Evil by Margaret Atwood is my first book by the authors, and I loved it, so I'm planning to buy more. I'll get more books of her. Now the fifth book that comes up is A Murder in Missouri and Other Tales by Ruskin Bond. So now the book will come over here. I'll put the book over here on this side. So when I talk about the Ruskin Bond, I've read Ruskin Bond stories like when I was in school time. So I read his book after a very long time, and let me tell you one thing. I met Ruskin Bond around 6-7 years back. So he came to Jaipur for the Jaipur Literature Festival. I think it's been almost 6-7 years back, if I'm not wrong. So I went over there, and he was sitting, and I was just like signing the books and giving the, like, he was just there for the signing and for the people I were meeting. So it was the very first time I met with the author, and to be very honest, because I have read the Ruskin Bond stories as a child, it was like a great pleasure to meet the person who has written those beautiful stories. So yeah, so I've read this book. It is the book. I think the book contains 8 to 10 stories, different stories which are been there, and the first story comes up as the murder story in Missouri that takes place. Okay, and the next story that comes up is about a man and a woman. Okay, a man who's a writer, not well off, someday gets down on a station just to see that I'm passing on the station, just want to see what's beyond the station wall, because the station which has been there seems to be very deserted. Okay, so it's not like a lot of people gets there are hardly any people who gets down on that station, and hardly anyone who gets up on the train. So he just think that like this, nobody is getting out, nobody is coming in. Why the train actually stops over here, and what's is beyond that? So one day he just gets out of the train and says, "Okay, I'll just stay a day on this small village, okay, and I'll come back." So there, how the things takes place. So it's a nice story. And the third one is comes up of a little boy who is living with his mother on this hotel, where her mother is a caretaker manager kind of a something. So he lives over there, and like there are a lot of different people. That's a story actually, all mainly this all the stories belong to the British era. Okay, like before independence. That's the plot. All the plot of the stories is before independence. It's not like that now. It's like before independence, when the Britishers were here in India, when they were ruling India. So yeah, so the guy was there, the child was there, he was like 14, 15 years old, and there was a bar in that hotel, and the child was not allowed because he was underage. So, and mother is a manager. So all these eminent peoples comes over there and like have drinks and everything. So he just goes and like hears like what's happening, what's not. So he becomes the provider of the things, like sometimes the dartboard, sometimes like there is nothing to eat because the cook is not there in the kitchen today. He was like he's gone somewhere, so there's nothing to eat with the drinks, so he will bring something to eat. Okay, and how the story changes, and there's one very creepy thing that happens at the end of the story. So you should just, if you just are interested, you can go for it. Another story comes of a man who actually, again, the story of this story and another deserted station story is kind of same starting, has the same starting. When I started reading this one, I thought like, am I reading the same story again? And then I read and like, no, it's not, it's a different story. So the other story that comes up is like that the guy who passes from again from the station, nobody is coming up, nobody is going down, still the state train halts over there for some time on the station, and there he saws a girl, who is like a normal girl who was just selling some things on the station for the people. And there he meets this girl, and he was going to his grandmother's home. And then again he comes back, and then again he passes from the station. So like this happens 2 to 3 times, and once like he tells her that okay, I'll come back. And when he comes back again, he couldn't find the girl. He asks people like, like, have you seen that girl, have you seen that girl, have you seen that girl? But he never, he says that at the end he says that I will never get the strength to go outside the station and inquires about the girl, because if something happens to her, I won't be able to take it. So it's better to keep it that way, that okay, the girl might be there somewhere. So he just pretends that, and he never gets out, he never goes and inquire. One more story that I remember is of a poor man who likes a girl, but that girl, again, the guy is a writer. He likes a girl who lives, I think, nearby, or might be up like on the above story. And he likes that. He tells her that I like you, and she tells her that okay, let's get married. But he did not had the money to take care of the girl. So the girl gets married off to a wealthy man who is like very, very elder to the girl. And the girl was hardly 16, 17 years old, and the guy was around 30, 40 years, at the age of 30 or 40. So the girls get married off. And when he goes to that city, and he gives like some plant or something, and tells her that okay, when you go to that city, your home is there. She tells her my home is there. So he tells her okay, just keep those plants in your in your balcony, and whenever I'll pass through it, I'll get to know that you are there. So he gets to know. And once like he went out somewhere, and when he goes back to the city, he says that all the plants have dried up, they have died. So he gets out and tries. So then the story further progresses. So yeah, so I think 7, 8 stories are there, if I'm not wrong, if I'm not like, if I remember correctly. And each story is 3 to 4 pages long, not very much, really fast paced. They will start like this, they will finish like that. Yeah, so I think the entire book is 112 pages long, if I'm not wrong. So I might be 4, 5 pages or 10 pages long of each story. Yeah, so now the next book comes up is The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen R. Conway. And I'm still reading the book. If I'll just show you like how much I have read, so I'm like this part is portion is left, but like at the end it's appendix and other things are there. So I'm on page 312 and I have to read till I think page 329. Yeah, 329. So still 20 pages are left, but let me talk about this book then. The entire book has been divided into 7 habits and under 2 sections, public victory and private victory. And the book actually has all those 7 habits are being categorized in those 2 victories, the public victory and the private victory. So yeah, so let me just see the its context. Yeah, so it comes with the private victory that uh, the habit one, it says that be proactive. Okay, principle of personal vision should be there, like what you want to do, what you don't want to do. Second habit that comes is begin with the end in mind, like whatever you want to do you should have end in mind. Like suppose we are traveling, whenever we are travel we have a destination in mind, like we have that's the end point. So then accordingly we make a plan. So whenever you are making a plan for your own work, whether it's community, whether it's personal, whatever, you should have an end in mind, otherwise it's of no use. Okay, so that habit is important. Third habit is the put first things first. So it's the personal management, like you should know how to prioritize things, what things are important first and what things are important later. Okay, so that way you will able to sort your things out and it will be easy for you to manage the things. Okay, so that comes a part of the private victory and this is the first part. The second part comes up is the public victory and it becomes the think as a win-win. So this is the fourth habit that comes up. So there are 2 3 habits are there. If I talk about that, it's the win-lose situation where you win, another person loses. There's a lose-win situation where you lose, another person wins. And there's a third thing that comes up is the win-win situation. So it says that if you have a tendency of win and lose, that's uh, it's been thought that it's been considered as selfish, that you just want to win and the other person is going to lose. Okay, so you want to just win at every cost. That is, although this is important at certain points, you cannot like entirely ignore this situation, but yeah. Second thing comes up is this lose-win situation. This basically comes up with those people, those who are actually people pleaser, or those who don't have the I would say those who don't have the zeal of winning, and they are ready to lose so that the other person can be happy. So that comes a lose-win situation, like they're happy, okay, okay, I have lost, that it's okay, but the other person has won. And usually the people who have win-lose tendency takes advantage of the people who have lose-win tendency. Okay, but in both the situations, mainly one person is always on the losing end. All right, might be either the other person, might be either you. Now the third thing, and it all these two situations are not actually very ideal situations. The last part comes up is the win-win situation. The win-win situation is something which is not compromise, which you're not compromising on the things, but you are coming to a point, agreeable per point, which benefits both the parties. All right, and these type of things usually is very important in the relationships. All right, so this is the fifth part. This is the fourth part that comes it as a win-win situation. The fifth habit that comes up is seek first to understand, then to be understood. So this was a very I would say important point, because sometimes what happens is that we listen to the people, uh, uh, and we don't listen. Actually, I think this is the one. Yes. Okay. Yeah, principle of empathetic communication. So we first seek to understand, then to be understood. So first you need to understand the people, and then you can expect to be understood. Most of the time what happens when we listen to the people, we listen to reply, we don't listen to understand. Okay, like there are certain stories which are being shared, case study which has been which has been given by Stephen or Conway, Covey, sorry, not Conway, Covey, by like that a father was there, like he has like given the situations and the scenarios, like the father is there and son is there, and son says, okay, I'm not in the mood to go to the college and this the school sucks, and the father says, oh, these things happen, you just need to, you just, I don't, the son says, I don't want to study, the other guy is there, he's dropped out of school, I'll just do that, I'll just earn money. So instead of like putting the understanding the kid, like what the kid is going through, you just start using your own autobiography and telling the person, oh, you know what, I've gone to the same thing, you should not do that, you will. So instead of that, you need to understand like what the kid is going through, and just go understand what is going through, and then just say like, okay, fine, we can understand what you are going through, and so what's your plan, what you can do, like, yeah, school sucks, we can understand, yeah, school sucks, and like you can just try to understand the person. Sometimes the person is actually not telling that I want to be uh, just solve a problem. Sometimes they only want listen to me, I just want someone to rent the things out, and I don't want your knowledge or gyan, whatever it is, but I just want to be heard. So that was the seek first to understand, then to be understood, and third was a synergy principle of creative cooperation. Okay, so this is the sixth part, the public victory part. So this part comes up as, I need to check. Okay, so that comes up as a positive synergy, the negative synergy, the trust value that you need to have in communication, in businesses, all right, in the classroom, all right. So this comes up that if you have, uh, yeah, so this says that you need to have a trust in the people around you, and instead of like creating a competition among the people who are working at the same place, you are pushing the people in a certain way where they will not be loyal to you. And when I was reading this part, this actually happens a lot at places, at workplaces especially, like the office politics that we talk about. Okay, so uh, this is something which is like, I have faced myself while work, like when I was in job. I have faced this office politics badly, where uh, people with negative, like the people at the higher management will create a environment where it's like become a cutthroat competition. Like people, instead of helping and growing the institution, they start taking the growth of themselves by cutting the people out. Okay, and taking the you know credit of the people, taking the and the management is also very much responsible in creating such situations. So yeah, the synergy talks about, and you should have a positive environment in the work, in the relationship, so that everything can grow together rather than cutting each other's throats. Okay, the last part, the last habit, the habit number 7 is comes up as sharpen the saw, principle of balanced self renewal. That is the last part of the habit, which is there. So that it takes there was a story that was being given, that a man was there who was cutting a very giant tree with a big trunk, and a person come and was cutting for a very long hours, and the person comes and like, you're cutting for so many hours, just take some rest, sharpen your saw and then do it. And he says that, I don't have time, I had to cut it. So it says that sometimes you have to pause yourself, meditate, meet people, go spiritually, socialize, so that that is a part of a self renewal, which means you are rejuvenating yourself, you are giving time to yourself so that you can be healed in a proper way, and then you can go ahead and work again, uh, for the like for whatever you were doing. Okay, so this book is being there. And if I talk about the, because the last part has only been left, and so I can say I can easily give this book 3.5 to 4 stars, in between that. uh yeah, I will give it 3.5 stars, not more than that. So yeah, this is 3.5 stars. And the last book that comes up, that is the Babel. I read 20 pages, the first 20 pages, the first chapter of the book, and I couldn't finish it because I was reading this book. And while reading this book, in between that, I read those two books on the Kindle. So I read only 20 pages and I did not finish this book at all. So yeah. So I am putting this book in my March TBR. If you have seen my March TBR video, you will get to know. So I'm putting this book in the March TBR and I'll read it in the March. All right. So although I read the first 20 pages and I liked it. So once I'm done with this book, I'll straight away go on to this book and I'll finish this book first. Okay, all right. And I'll give the review of this book in the March wrap up now. So yeah, that is all for today, like for the February wrap up. And the reason behind I couldn't able to finish this book because I was reading this book really very slow, and in between like few days I even did not read any book. Okay, I was not in a mood because I was like mind got stuck because of all the same genres. So yeah, so this book I'll read over there. And this is all for today, and I'll see you in the next video. So till then, bye bye.